What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, another week of the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick. That's Gunk. Gunk, we're back. And for me, the horrors remain endless. And for you, you're doing pretty good.
Not too bad there, Nick. Not too bad. We're
Yeah.
doing all right over here in Devil's Land. Not too shabby of a week for us. Right now, first place in the Metro by a couple points. First in the Eastern Conference in President's Trophy contention, playing super well. Winners of the last three. Very happy with my team right now.
Let's talk about one of those wins.
Alrighty.
This past Saturday, the Devils played an afternoon game at home against Chicago.
Very good game.
Oh, baby, what a game. Baby,
I
what a
mean,
game.
Oh yeah, and and not even just because of the, comeback win by the Devils, in excuse me, in really dramatic fashion with 3 goals in a 2-minute span in the third to take the lead and then expand the lead. But again, I just feel like it's the toughness of this team that, we had the I would say was it the pre-holiday kind of like press conference with Tom Fitzgerald, just going over like the state of the team before we head into the new year, and he seemed very happy, and really it's a culture change with this team. It seems like Sheldon Keefe has come in and really taken over the team, has really become the head coach I think these guys need. And with the additions of like the toughness that we talked about over this season over the podcast with, like I said, with a Brendan Dillon, who doesn't seem like, it's going to be like the biggest, impact on a team, but he's really brought, the real toughness and a real grit to this defensive core. You bring in a Brent Pesce, who already has been worth the money, worth it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just between the leadership, playing with Luke Hughes, who has really settled down in his defensive, we all know that, Luke Hughes is a really good offensive player, coming out of college from Michigan. But the defensive wise, I was the last game against St. Louis the other night, a clear breakaway for, I think it was either Cairo or Neighbors. It was one of those guys. And he made it back. He strided back and played a beautiful, beautiful stick check and saved the breakaway right there, which at the point, the game was still, relatively in doubt. So big plays. Like I said, defensively, and like I said, the toughness and grit. You bring in a Paul Cotter, who you traded Alexander Holtz, who, is apparently, not striving on the NHL level. You bring a guy like that in who, contributed a few goals at the beginning of the year and has brought the toughness to this team. Like I said, with Sheldon Keefe's leadership, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen playoff wise, because we all know, NHLers know, the struggles that he's had with Toronto, in the past with, first round exits and stuff, especially against Boston when he was the coach of the Maple Leafs.
I think this team is different, though.
I feel like it is too.
This Devils team is different than those Leafs teams, because those Leafs teams had stars, but those stars cared about themselves. This Devils team has stars, but they care about the team.
I totally agree with that. And it goes right to the top of the players, which is Nico Hischier, the captain. His leadership through this season, just watching him and the way he talks in press conferences and interviews and stuff, he's really matured, in the 8 years he's been there. And like I said, I feel like he's the perfect captain for this team. He's not not overly vocal, but when he needs to, he will be. And I felt like this is going to be a perfect captaincy for this kind of team right here. Great leader. And then of course you got your superstars like Bratt and Hughes, who,
Oh, we need to talk about Bratt. His shift leading into the goal for Jack was some of the best hockey I've ever watched.
Which is why, yes, I was just bringing that around to that. Like I said, that play by Bratt might be a turning point when you look back at this season, when we get into March and April and we start hitting to the playoff stretch. That play is going to be really big, I feel like. Just turning their season around, because again, you're down 1-0. You got Mercer, who scored that beautiful goal with his muzzle on, and the Murd Dog with his little cage on the muzzle. Another toughness guy. one game gets hit in the face with a puck, leaves it, gets stitched up. Next game, right back out there with the cage, scores the goal to tie the game at versus Chicago. Just again, grit, determination. It just feels like this team is like just together right now. I mean, yes, it's early in the season still. I mean, we're only 35, almost, we're almost to the halfway point, but watching them every night, I mean, it's just a joy to see compared to other years. And I'm even going back to even 2 years ago when we had the big stretch, when we had the big run to the second round. It's a totally different team, I feel like. I said, I'm going back to the Fitzgerald press conference where he was talking about the culture being a lot different with this team and how, like, even like I said 2 years ago, like the defense was like Swiss cheese, and I think that was literally his quote. It was like watching Swiss cheese as they, as opponents went up through, right through the neutral zone, got into the zone and stuff like that. Lockdown defensively. I mean, it's so hard to create a rush with this Devils team now with the defense back there. And that's causing turnovers in the neutral zone, which are leading to breaks going towards the Devils' end, which again, that's their game. The cycle, the rush, that's their game. And to me, it's feel like they're playing right into their hands. But yes, the Brat play was the emphasis of what this team is starting to become.
And you felt it. I was at the game, and every fan in the building was able to appreciate the play that he made to get that puck and keep it in the zone and get it to Jack for a goal.
Yes.
Easily the loudest, most electric I've ever heard this place. And I've been there for Rangers Devils games. We've been there for Rangers Devils games. This was the loudest and most jumping I've heard this Prudential Center ever. And to be able to witness that was honestly something like it was something amazing. Just to see the work and to see something like that and to be a part of, you could hear when he makes that play, everybody start roaring, and then it just leads to a goal, and then the roof blows off the place.
And like I said, you were there live, so you probably got a better perspective. Even on TV, you could just tell like how crazy that crowd went at 2-1. I mean, and not even that. Like I said, the Brat play again against the two Blackhawk players was really, again, fantastic, gritty, hardworking, and that's one of your stars going in there and doing that. That's not a third line guy or fourth line guy causing this play. It's one of your top guys, and when you see a top guy putting out the effort and the grit in that, in that scenario where you want to get up, you want to jump ahead, 2-1. And even in that play, you got to give Pesce he threw a perfect pass to Jack. He got the primary assist on that. So Brat caused the play, got it out to Pesce. Pesce put it right on Jack's tape. And again, if you watch that game, it was a line change that somebody jumped off where Jack can jump on and streak in, because Sheldon Keefe was talking about that after the game, how unselfish, I forgot who it was exactly, that somebody had jumped off, Jack had jumped on at the perfect time to, gain the zone and hit that puck top shelf on the young rookie kid. I can't remember his name. I think it starts with a C. I remember that. But the young goalie from Chicago. I mean, roofed it on him. And like you said, the place went crazy. And for a team like Chicago, especially in that environment, I mean, again, they just give up the next two goals within, a minute, and there's your 4-1 game.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed by the team in that game. Again, that was one of those games maybe earlier in the season, almost like the San Jose game where it was 1-0. It was a really fluky goal. It was the goal where Luke basically bounced off his head. If you remember, the shot, it kind of trickled off his head and went in, and he was very frustrated. I was thinking, again, watching that game, through the second and, early in the third, I'm thinking it's going to be one of those games where, okay, we just don't have the goal scoring tonight. They've been shut out a few times this year, but like I said, Murdaugh gets it going, ties the game. Jesper makes that terrific play. Jack snipes it, 2-1, 2 more goals. We're off to the races, baby.
Yeah, and you guys never looked back, and you were able to carry that energy into Tuesday night against St. Louis. We were talking about that game before.
Yeah,
a 4-1 win, and then you go into a game tonight in Columbus. So that should be a pretty solid game. Columbus has looked okay,
they
and
looked okay.
the Devils look good. And then
Yep.
heading into
This is one.
Christmas, you have two
Yeah, I was gonna
games
say
at
this is
home.
one. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
was
You're
saying
good.
this is one of those games that this is like almost like a trap game coming up because then you have Pittsburgh on Saturday, which is one of our rivals, and then we got the Rangers on Monday afternoon. So, let's not look past Columbus on this game. Let's go out tonight. Let's put a good effort in. The same effort we've been putting into these games. Get our 2 points and get out of Columbus. That's basically what I'm thinking about tonight. Play a solid game. You know, Jacob Markstrom has been tremendous in goal too. He's 5-0-1 in his last 6 games. He's the shots. I mean, I think Tuesday night was the first time that the Devils have let up 20 shots in a game in 4 or 5 games.
Oh shit.
They've been throwing the shots on goal. They've been throwing the defense. During the streak. So I said, team right now they're on a roll. Let's keep it going. That's all. That's all you can wish for right now. Hopefully, we don't fall apart in the middle of the year. Maybe we'll look for a trade at the. But for right now, Devils fans got to be very happy out there with the way this team is performing, unlike other teams in this area.
I
As
wonder
we
who that
can,
could
as
be.
we can,
I wonder who
yeah.
that could be.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Devils fan, you can stay here and enjoy the goodness that is coming up next.
So people are losing it on Twitter right now. This is from at Sports Talk NY. Interesting hashtag New York Rangers stat. This is the quickest a New York Rangers team has gotten to 15 losses since 2013-14. When under Alain Vigneault, they were 15-15-1 after 31 games. The same record that they have today, that 2013-14 team went on to finish the season 45-31-6 with 96 points and went to the Stanley Cup Finals. The problem that I have with this, that team had dogs on it. That team would kill people. That team had heart. That team would block shots. That team had defense. That team had one of the best defensive cores in the league.
I
That you're not the same.
mm-mm.
It's only gotten worse since the last time we spoke. The game against
Yeah.
Buffalo was okay, and then it just, I don't know what happened. You had that really good win in Buffalo. You want to try to carry it over into LA, and what? You come home and get stomped by Los Angeles. I thought that was going to be a good game too, especially after the game against the Sabres. I thought that was going to be a really good game.
No, I agree with you. I think I threw that game on for a little while actually to see what was going on.
I'm glad I never really looked at it. I kept track of the score. I mean, after a little bit, I first heard that it was 5. I didn't even keep track of it until it was after they scored 5. I was at the Devils game and I heard somebody behind me go, "He fucking let up 5," and I was like, "Who?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Ain't no way."
So, yeah, no, absolutely.
So, yeah, there was that, and then you go into St. Louis and the wheels fall off with this roster. What? I'm not sure what the thought process was behind roster changes in this game. Rangers fans have been asking for Peter Laviolette to scratch players, and he's scratching the wrong guys. You picked the wrong guy. What did Capo Caco do to get scratched against St. Louis? He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. I don't understand what their problem with him was to scratch him for this game when you definitely could have used him, but no, let's trot out players that can't fucking score and see what that gets us for the 12th game in a row. Um, I don't want to put the blame on Lavi because he can only do so much after a certain point. But it's on the players and it's on Drury here. I don't respect any of what Drury's doing with this team. And the trade that I want to talk about kind of is indicative of that because I understand Capo Caco was he just didn't want to play here anymore. But I mean, I don't I don't think you got any. I knew you wouldn't get much for him, but I don't think Will Borgen is really the answer.
No.
Um, yeah, he's okay, but he's a third pairing defenseman. I mean, he's just so all right. I mean, other teams wanted him, but
Yeah,
it's a
trust me.
joke.
Trust me, when I saw this come across my ESPN last night and I saw it, I was like, wow, the mighty have really fallen. I mean, again, we were talking about this during the off season, right before the season started, about that it was basically we were making the Alexander Holtz and Capo Kakinen, kind of comparison of maybe he just needs a fresh start somewhere, and he just needs to get away from from the Rangers organization. Maybe start out fresh somewhere else, like we did with Holtz, sending him to excuse me, to Vegas. Maybe it would be a fresh start for the kid. And I feel like now, I feel like they finally realized that, a week ago. You know what I mean? Like maybe they realized this, a week ago, that maybe this kid just can't play in New York, and all the
I
frustrations that he's gone through and stuff. And
But it's been 6 years. You
no,
didn't
absolutely.
realize that he can't play here. You, I don't know. He's played for three coaches. Every single one has thought he sucked. You mean to tell me nobody decided to bring it up to Gorton or Drury or even try to get through to maybe fucking Dolan all the way at the top to say, hey, we don't fucking like this kid. We want him gone. I
Yeah,
there
like I said, that's the frustrating thing. Like I said, from my perspective, like I said, looking from the outside in, it looks like I said, they should have gave the kid a fresh start. I mean, maybe they thought they can get something out of him.
you could have
They're
gotten some. I definitely think you could have gotten something out of him, but you also
Mhm.
could have gotten something for him.
Right.
You could
That
have
was my
gotten
point.
Jake Gensel last year, and you could have had a chance at beating the Panthers, and you would
Yes.
have definitely had a chance at beating the Oilers with a Jake
Oh,
Gensel on your
absolutely.
team. I I think a lot of the blame is to go on the general manager for the way he's handled a lot of things. I don't blame him for the moves he's made. I blame him for the way he's handled the moves he's made. You fucked up with Goodrow. I During the regular season, I thought he was a bit of a problem last year. He wasn't. Um, Truba like a week ago. That was handled so poorly, and even during the summer. Um, you've destroyed your top line by trading Buchnevich when you first came in because you didn't have the money for him. And now you've been scrambling every year since to get a new player to try to work with these guys. Riley Smith hasn't worked. Jack Roslovic hasn't worked. Blake Wheeler was cute for 5 minutes. And the only person that I could say ever worked was Frank Vetrano. Vetrano worked. That was the only
Yeah,
one that
absolutely.
ever looked good.
Right.
But now you're trying to put Loff up there. You're trying to just move guys around. You had Chris Kreider on the fourth fucking line in St. Louis. He was on the fourth line. That's the guy that's been here the longest. And he's playing on the fourth fucking line. What are we doing? That's a joke. And
I
then
I
to try to make a little push from the kids that fucking care, because you know what? They're not making millions of dollars. They have to play for an NHL contract. So you have guys like Berard, like Cooley, like Heedle. These guys have stuff to play for. Loft got his money and fell off. You couldn't buy a goal for Mika. You couldn't buy anything for Kreider. You can't buy the defense anything. And Igor can't stop a beach ball. Everything from this team just sucks up and down, and it doesn't get easier. And guess what? The spot that you have open from Kako, who do you fucking fill it with? You bring up the fucking goon. You bring up the fucking Curtis McDermott fucking beater. That's all you got. That's all he is. He's not the solution. That's not the needle mover.
Mm-mm.
I don't know who is, but it's not Matt Rempe. It's never been him.
No.
Because what? What now? Where do you put him? The fourth line so he can play 2 minutes a night? Fuck you. Like, what are you doing with him?
It's unfortunately, I see it with a lot of, especially. I'm gonna take my team out of this just for this second right now, just because they're considered a local team, but I'm gonna move them to the side just for a second. New York-based teams, it always seems like, and especially the Manhattan-based teams. I'm gonna say your Yankees, your Mets, your Rangers, your Knicks. It feels like these teams like just can't get like a system, like a program together. You know, it's always bringing in something to change, or they'll find one piece and market it the shit out of it, thinking it's the greatest thing in the world. I'm gonna compare the Remke thing, Rempe, the Rempe thing to almost like a Linsanity. You know what I mean? It's
that's
kind of
exactly
the same.
what it was.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it was.
I mean, you got to give the comparison of like the Linsanity for that year of the Knicks, kind of compared to like how Rempe was last year, where it was the Rangers were rolling on all cylinders. They were scoring. They were winning games. A guy like Matt Rempe would be perfect in a scenario of last year's team. This
and that's when it was cute.
A totally different story.
Yeah,
he's not your savior. He's not somebody that's going to come up and bring. Yeah, he'll come up. He'll throw a fight. He'll throw a penalty. Which again, at this point, you guys don't need any more penalties. You don't need teams to go on a power play against your team. You know, against you guys right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to play 5-on-5. You know.
At this point, it almost seems like you do want teams to go up on you because your penalty kill is the only thing that's working. And most times, it's because of the guy in net. It's not even because of the players playing in front of him. It's the guy behind him.
Right.
So, I mean, you almost kind of want to go on the penalty kill all the time. But I don't think this is the answer. I really don't know what it is. I'd honestly think I'd rather see the team play 11-7, 11 forward, 7 defensemen, than try to bring somebody up. Because you know what? At this point, nothing's working. You should probably go back to the 1-3-1 in terms of defensive structure. That's the only thing that ever fucking worked under Laviolette. Go back to the 1-3-1. It works. You know it works, especially with this team. It was so good, teams couldn't fucking break it. This is a joke, and the schedule does not get easier. Heading into Christmas, tomorrow you're in Dallas. Saturday you're playing against Carolina, and then Sunday it's against Carolina. Monday it's in Prudential.
In New Jersey. Yeah.
And then you go to Florida. The Lightning isn't easy. The Panthers aren't easy. Then you go to the Bruins after the New Year. That'll be a challenge. Then you play the team that you knocked out of the playoffs last year. That's better than you now.
Yeah.
And then you play one of the worst teams in the league that beat you already.
Right.
And then you play back in Dallas.
And the Devils again.
And then the Devils again. And then you're all the way in Vegas. Have fun.
I'm looking, as you're saying this, and I'm looking at the schedule for them. I'm like, except for the Blackhawks, where are you picking up wins? and you're already out of playoff content. I mean, yes, you're only a point out, but when you look at the standings as of we recording this, you are in sixth place. If I were to put a bet down right now that said at this time of year, the Rangers would be in sixth place in the division, not even in the wild card, in the division. I mean, you're down there with the Islanders. You're down there with, you're down there with Columbus. I mean, this was not and Rangers fans got to be pulling their hair up right now because I totally get it because being, like I said, from last year, I was pulling my hair out, trust me, and I don't have much of it left. And I was pulling my hair out. So if I was doing it, I know Rangers fans must be going insane right now. And you can see it online everywhere.
After the game Sunday, you hold a players only meeting talking about how upset you are with Drury. Fine. Sure. Come out of that with a win. Win a fucking game. You come out of that, you go into Nashville, and you get shut out? Huh?
As soon as I saw that score, I saw the Predators score, because again, I didn't watch that game.
You lost to the last team in the league twice in a week, and it wasn't even the same team. Wow.
Yeah,
And going back to the rest of the schedule, it doesn't get any easier. I read 11 games. I'll go through the next 14. Then after Vegas, you're in Colorado. And then you're in Utah against the Storm and Mormons. And then you play against Columbus. Where, guess what? Columbus always runs your fucking show. So that's not even an easy win. You're not... Unless you get to overtime in some of these games, which at this point... If the Rangers got to overtime in some of these losses, I wouldn't be screaming like this. Because at least you're fucking getting points. I don't care if you're making Islanders comparisons to being overtime merchants. I don't give a fuck. I want points in the standings. Points on the board is points on the board. What is this?
And especially, you said, as we crap on the Islanders loser points. They have 7 right now, and they're
at least got some. We got 1.
They got some at least.
I'd be fine with loser points. I don't care that they're losing. Just get something for it, because you know what? Loser points at least say that the game was close. You had a chance to win. You didn't lose 5-1 and get embarrassed at home. You didn't get shut out by the worst team in the league that's struggling to find any sort of fucking goal scoring, any sort of happiness, any sort of luck. You could have fucking killed them. But no. You killed yourselves. You gave up. I was talking before about this, and I hope you understand the reference as well, because I saw it on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was, so I can properly give them credit for it. And they said something that really resonated with me, and they said this team has forgotten Herb Brooks' main point as a coach in the movie Miracle. What did he say to his guys about their jerseys?
You put me on the spot. I totally
the name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the name on the back.
The name on the back. Yes, absolutely.
They have given up and care about only themselves. And you notice it because they've given up on the GM, and which means they've given up on themselves, and they're making themselves look like clowns. I'm going to keep watching these hockey games. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not entertained by it at all. But I'm going to keep watching them, and we're going to see what happens. Because tomorrow, you're going to get killed. I'm ready for it. For some reason, the Rangers always play Carolina good. So maybe Sunday, if you eke out a win, I don't care if it's in the fucking shootout. If you get a win against somebody like that, fine, cool. Take it into the Devils game and get stomped there, and we can talk about it after Christmas.
No. You know how the Rangers psyche is. They'll give you you're saying that about the Hurricanes game, and they'll come out and beat Dallas on Friday,
Oh
and
yeah,
they'll
it's gonna
get
be a
everyone hyped.
barn burner 7-4, 7-5 game for the Rangers, and then there's gonna be fucking 8-0 Carolina.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna get some sort of false hope because that's how it's just a complete mess. I mean,
It really is, and
when
there's
when do
no
you think
there's no way you can change any of it.
when does the hook happen? Because I know I saw that you'd posted on your Instagram, and I had seen it all over the Sean Avery rumors.
Oh,
I
please
mean,
get him in this front office, Gunk. Please, I need him there.
when does the hook finally hit for Drury? You think
Uh,
sooner than later? What do
I
you think? Because again, I'm with you. I don't think Laviolette is the problem. I don't
He's
think
not.
Laviolette's the
He's
problem.
not, because as far as a lot of people know, their relation with Laviolette is fine.
Right.
And that's fine because he's a good coach still. So, and I think I think Laviolette trusts his guys. It's just a matter of they've given up on something else. And he doesn't know how to convey that they need to get back to where they were.
Right.
I think the hook happens after the new year if you lose to Chicago.
Yeah. That would be the low point again. That would hit a low again.
Because you know what? You have to hope. Even I am giving them a pass up until Christmas. You have 3 tough games coming up.
Yeah.
In Dallas, against Carolina, and against the Devils. Those are 3 tough games. Go into them. If you play well, you could go into Christmas feeling good. You could go into the break feeling good. You come back, get ready for Florida, and just try to win again. You always play good in Florida during the new year. I'm not sure what it is. Just go out there and I just want this team to go out there and play hockey. I don't think I want them to go out there looking to try to get 2 points. Just go play. Go have fun.
Go have fun.
Like, I don't care anymore. Just go have fun. And yeah, I really think if you continue losing and then you lose to the Blackhawks again on the 5th of January, you could really just say, you know what, he's done. Because you know what?
Yeah.
I like what Avery wants to do with this team. He wants to move guys that aren't performing. He wants to make this team something.
Yes.
Drury trusted his guys. It hasn't worked. We need somebody that's willing to not be so nice to their guys. Because you know what? We talked about it last year with the Trouba stuff during the summer. This is a business. People are going to fucking move. It's at a point now where the other shoe has to drop. I'm done. Yep. Everybody should be done with this organization. Avery went and talked to Dolan. Maybe he talked sense into him. Maybe you see Drury fired after a day or 2. Who knows? Who cares? Rangers have to play good in Dallas. If not, you're punting the season away at this point. So,
yeah.
Other than that, it's about it. I want to talk about something funny real quick, not Rangers or Devils related. Did you see?
No problem.
Did you see the brilliance of NHL officiating last night in the Philadelphia-Detroit game?
Oh God, are you talking about the Torts thing, right?
Yeah.
You know what? We give Torts his shit sometimes on this podcast. He was so in the right in this one.
Oh, I agree, because what do you? I don't even know what happened. It doesn't make sense.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. It was actually pretty freaking funny.
Yeah,
I saw a good Twitter account or an X account if you want to follow. It's called Bad Sports Refs. Hilarious. I mean, football. I mean, you get all sports, but it's just bad refereeing on all levels, and it was one of the funniest things I've seen. He literally pulls his arm down like a child would do, like in class.
Yeah.
Like when they think they have the answer, and then they have that like, oh shit, I don't know the answer, and I throw my hand down as fast as possible, but the teacher still calls on me. and then you're like,
Uh,
I don't know. And then they called the too many men on the ice penalty on them. I
yeah.
mean,
To take it away.
what
To take it away.
what are
It
you
doesn't make
doing?
sense. I don't understand it. It just, wow.
It just justifies all the shit that he does do to the referees at any other point in the
Yeah,
season.
like you get a
For
pass. You
shit
get a
like that,
pass now.
you still get a pass. Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of our boy Torch, what about did you see the one press conference the one post comments he had after a game where he was talking about Mitchkov trying to do the Michigan all the time?
Yeah, he's lost the
That
battle.
was pretty funny.
I agree with. You know what? Let him do it. Who cares?
Yeah,
I don't. There's a time and a place for it in the game. I think it belongs in the game. It's fun.
yeah. Oh no.
Like I don't agree with him saying that there's no place for it. There definitely is. But
Yeah,
at least he's willing to admit that he's lost the battle.
yeah.
It's
He's one of those coaches that like you don't want him coaching your team just because of this, but from the outside, it pretty fucking funny.
yeah, it's really funny.
You gotta love the guy for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, between these couple things and then getting thrown out at the game that is honoring his Stanley Cup winning team, I mean, the guy's a character, and if he's your coach, he drives you nuts. But if he's not your coach, and you see it from the outside, you really love the guy. I mean, you got to give it to him.
Yeah.
He is a walking comment every time. You never know what's gonna throw out of his mouth when it comes to his press conferences. So, Philadelphia fans, we hate you all up here, but you're pretty goddamn entertaining with this shit.
Yeah, I mean it's really funny to see Torts be Torts. But gang, thank you all for listening to me, I guess vent. I don't know.
That's fine.
Vent, rant, whatever you want to call it.
I've been waiting for this for the last day or two because I went through all the garbage last year with my team. Thank God it's on somebody else's time. Shoot.
But that'll do it for this episode and this week of the What the Puck podcast. I've been Nick down here. That's been Gunk up there. Gang, we love you. Gunk, I love you.
Merry Christmas, guys, out there. This is our last episode before the Christmas season. We're going to plan something for next week. We'll get together. We will have an episode up during the week, probably after Christmas. But for right now, if you have anything interesting you want to talk about the NHL, Rangers, Devils, please join us at our TikTok at What the Puck Pod on there, and watch us on YouTube at What the Puck Podcast. Join us. We're always here. Like I said, if you watch us, you come across us across your feed, you come across us across your YouTube, please leave a comment. If you're a hockey fan, you have a question or comment, we will look it up, bring it up on the podcast, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. And
Merry Christmas to you guys. I love you guys so much.
Merry Christmas to you guys too. I love yous.
We love you too, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.